buong kwento ng Amalayer video, pati yung naging impact nito sa buhay ni Paula. Ngayon, ang gusto na naman po natin malaman ay kung sino ba si Paula 10 years ago, bago man nangyari ang Amalayer video, yung childhood mo.
Well, I grew up as an only child, pero my parents were separated since I was 8 months old or a year or two. So basically, ang parang naging parents ko, yung grandparents ko, may lolo and may lola. Fourth year high school was like, parang ang laking impact sa life ko because that's the time when where I lost my grandma. That again took a toll on me because I felt like nalumpo ako, wala nang nagagabay sa akin, and my dad was like, what am I gonna do? Parang how I'm gonna raise this kid? And for the longest time, my parents were raising my kid.
Mas naging secondary na relationship mo with your father.
Yes.
And yung primary was your grandparents.
He was like the provider for me and, you know, serving me, like doing things for me and all that. Pero like, parang walang values na na-instill. It's really more of my grandparents na nag-instill noon sa akin.
Would you say that you had an improved relationship with your father, or is it still the same thing until now, or before the incident? He's still like a secondary figure?
That's really an interesting question because nung time na yun, yes, we had our struggles. Kasi si Papa, lalo na nag-college ako, nagkaroon siya ng girlfriend for the first time. And my thinking was like, okay, I'm gonna put his welfare first. Pero naloko siya ng girl, and so it affected our relationship again.
So given that situation where kinakapapa ninyo yung relationship ninyo, you mentioned na your mother was not a present figure growing up. So during those formative years ba, may sama ka ba ng loob sa mom mo?
Well, before I didn't realize that I had until I started going to therapy, and that's when I realized na I have mommy issues pala. Nung nangyari yung Amalayer incident, she never reached out, but then I became a Christian. And then I realized, oh, I have to reach out. I have to like rebuild my relationship with her. But every time I would do it, it's like, you know, the porcupine principle. When they hug each other, they end up hurting each other. So every time I would try to like go near her, I would just end up getting hurt. So I came to a point, especially when I started, you know, doing therapy or going to therapy, not to like distance myself, like love her from afar, establish
Boundaries.
Healthy boundaries.
So coming to our last question, do you think things would have been different had you had a better relationship sa magulang mo, sa mom or dad mo?
I believe so. Because in my therapy, again, I learned na, you know, malaking factor yung relationship with our parents. Sila yung unang nagpa-protect sa'yo from the world. Diba? That's how it is.
Yeah.
So I believe, yes, having that healthy relationship with my parents could have made my life a lot better. But that's, I think, the beauty of God's grace. The thing about having a relationship with Christ is that you may not have the perfect earthly parents, right? You would always have a good and perfect father.